This is the old RadWagon 4, but this right here, this is the brand new RadWagon 5, and a lot has changed. It's got a lower center of gravity, Class 3 speeds, a more powerful motor, better handling, a suspension front fork, hydraulic disc brakes, a brighter front headlight, turn signals, IPX6 weather protection, a new Safe Shield battery, through axle connecting the front wheel, a new tire size, a color LCD display, even a better kickstand. The bike is fully UL certified. We're going to cover all of that in this comprehensive review. First, I'll dive into all the components, tell you everything you need to know. Then we'll get into some first-person riding footage, really test out the true performance of the new motor. I honestly don't know if the bike is going to make it up. We'll see. And finally, some third-person riding footage where I'll give you my key considerations if you're looking at this cargo electric bike. But first, let's take a closer look. The RadWagon holds a special place in my heart because our e-bike adventure started all the way back in 2018 with our first RadWagon. We put over 4,000 miles on it. And at the time of that purchase, I also started the Rad Power Bikes forum at radowners.com. Tons of helpful information there if you're looking to purchase one, but also if you already own a Rad Power Bike. So I'm very familiar with the entire Rad Power Bikes lineup. And of course, there's a lot of history because it is one of the most well-known names of e-bikes in North America. Even since the launch of the RadWagon 4, there have been a ton of new entrants into the cargo e-bike space. So I'm happy to see that Rad Power Bikes finally refreshed this model in particular. Let's dive into price. The RadWagon 5 comes in at $21.99, and if you're looking to purchase this electric bike or any other that we've featured on the channel, you can help support content like this for free by using our links down in the description before you make your purchase. Thank you so much for your support. Rad Power Bikes has a slew of awesome accessories that are compatible with the RadWagon 5, but I wanted to leave it bare to show you what you get for that base price. But be sure to subscribe because we'll be doing a full accessory video on this electric bike, setting it up how I would personally use this electric bike. It's offered in two different colors, this metallic blue, but if you want a little bit more understated look, you can opt for the black. What I appreciated on the old RadWagon 4 was that it's accommodating to a wide variety of riders. That's no different on the RadWagon 5, and that's thanks to firstly, the telescoping seat post. You can go all the way down with two adjustments, or for a taller rider like me, I'm 6 feet tall, I'll rock the bike forward by putting my foot in front of the kickstand, and full leg extension, no problem. Rad Power Bike states that this bike is good for riders all the way down to 4'11" up to 6'3". The bike has a max payload capacity of 375 pounds, 265 for the rider, 120 pounds on the rear rack, and yes, it's heavy. It weighs 86 pounds, and that will go down to 75.6 pounds if you remove the battery. And to make this bike more accessible, they changed the tubing here, and the standover height right here is just 21 inches high. Very easy to get your leg over. And with that change, as well as something else that we'll get to in a second, it helped lower the center of gravity. Be sure to check out our video where we talked about all the new models that Rad Power Bikes launched this year. But next, let's dig into the components. For the first time, the RadWagon gets hydraulic disc brakes. This is a big one for me. These are from Tektro, plenty of stopping power, and they're paired with 180 millimeter rotors. The front wheel now attaches with a through axle, which is more sturdy. It also helps ensure that your front wheel is where it's supposed to be. We've seen other brands go this route. I said the center of gravity was lower. That's helped by the new size of tires. These are 20 inch by 3.3 inches wide, Kenda tires, reflective sidewalls, and there's a little bit of tread on here as well in case you do decide to take it on, say, some crushed gravel paths. We've got a plastic fender up front, and the rear wheel guard is now black, so it doesn't get as dirty. That helps protect in case you have any passengers in the rear. Another thing people will appreciate if they do go a little bit more off-road is the RST Guide front suspension fork. There is a preload adjustment on the left, lockout on the right, in case you're sticking to paved paths. Now the travel is just 45 millimeters. You might think that's low compared to other styles of electric bikes, but that's of course to help keep the weight distribution low. This is what you can expect out of the front suspension fork. Up front is Rad Power Bike's new 200 lumen front headlight, much brighter. We have the 4 mounting points here if you want to put the front rack or basket. Really nice cable management that goes into the frame. We have these BMX inspired bars, very high rise, and what that allows you to do is push the handlebars forward if you'd prefer, or perhaps if you're a little bit shorter, bring them towards you. It also puts you in a more upright riding position. Moving to the cockpit, we have non-locking rubber grip, half grip on the right with the twist throttle. There's Tektro hydraulic disc brake levers complete with motor cutoffs. They do include a bell. For shifting, we have the basic Shimano 7-speed Sys Index thumb shifter. And this is Rad's new display, power button on the top. This is their vertical color display, but they have a new horizontal display on the Radster Road as well as the Radster Trail. On the control pad, power button on the top, pedal assist up and down. Holding the pedal assist up button, that will turn on the light indicated right here. And then pedal assist down, that does have a walk mode. And then yes, left and right, that's for the blinkers. I'll show you those in a second. On the bottom though is the information button. Jumping over to the display, we have wattage in the top left, odometer in the top right, battery capacity with estimated range. That's going to depend on the pedal assist level you're in. Speaking of pedal assist levels, 0 all the way up to 5 as indicated on the bottom. You can see 13 miles of estimated range. Miles per hour front and center. Hitting the bottom information button will give you additional information, trip time, trip distance, and class level 2. Let's go into some of the advanced settings in this display. Holding the I button, this is where you can clear your trip. You also can change the class down to class 1 for a top speed of 20 miles per hour. While you're pedaling, throttle no longer will work. It ships as a class 2 electric bike, or you can go into class 3, speeds up to 25 miles per hour, or class 3 up to 28 miles per hour. We'll be sure to test that out in the upcoming first-person riding footage. Keep in mind the throttle is still going to cut off at 20 miles per hour. You can change the units, and the range can either display the remaining range or the battery state of charge, brightness of the display, and you can view additional information, including the display and controller firmware. So that's the new color LCD display, but I almost forgot one thing. Underneath this display, there is a USB-C port so you can charge your device while you're underway. We've got some reminders from Rad Power Bikes on the top tube, as well as 3 bottle cage bosses. And if you plan to bring water on your ride, which you should, you might as well pick up the best water bottle cage on the market, for sale at shop.ebikeescape.com. It can hold large water bottles all the way up to Nalgene bottles. There's lots of frame reinforcements on the bottom here. The bike comes with these metal Welgo pedals. The kickstand is very sturdy, and I really like these rubber ends on each side of the kickstand. And stability is important, especially on a cargo electric bike. All right, here is the battery in a new location. And you can see here, this is a Safe Shield battery. What does that mean? That means the battery is filled with a resin. So in the unlikely event of a fire, it's supposed to help prevent the fire moving from one cell to the next and of course spreading. And this is something that sets Rad Power Bikes batteries out from the rest. And the bike is also fully UL certified. The battery is UL certified as well. And we also have new capacities. This is a 48 volt, 15 amp hour battery. The key is on the left side. I'm going to turn it to the left. That will unlock it and will lift up. I like to use 2 hands. And I've found the best way is just to kind of loosen it and then pull it out from the bottom of the frame. There's fuses on the bottom, of course, battery capacity button. And for some additional protection, say you're traveling, might I recommend our flame resistant and waterproof bag. This is the size large that fits these new Safe Shield Shark style batteries. And you can simply roll it up, snap into place, and you even have a handle. Battery can be charged both on the bike or off the bike. Charger port has a rubber cover right here. And we'll put the battery back in. Simply line up the grooves, push into place, and keep in mind you want to turn the key all the way to the right if you want the bike to turn on. Otherwise, in the middle, let's call it, the bike won't turn on and the battery will be locked to the frame. Tektro hydraulic disc brake in the rear. There is a torque arm here to help keep the wheel where it's supposed to be, and yes, mounting points here for the footrests and tons of mounting points on the rear rack. As a reminder, stay tuned for our accessory video, though you might get a sneak peek later in this video of how we plan to use this electric bike. I hinted at the turn signals, so the lights are turned on, and when I hit the brake, it does go brighter, but then you have a left turn signal as well as a right turn signal. They do not, however, turn off automatically except after 2 minutes, so you do need to remember to turn them off, though it does let you know in the display that you do have a blinker on, which is nice. Attached to the telescoping seat post is a Rad Power Bike seat. It does have a handle on it, which is nice. Comfort is personal preference. This is one that you might want to consider upgrading if you're looking for ultimate comfort. Hiding in the rear here is the 750 watt motor with 90 newton meters of torque. I can't wait to see what it's capable of, especially loaded up. 7 speeds in the rear with a Shimano Altus derailleur, what we see on many electric bikes, and it's 11 to 34 teeth as far as gearing goes. And in the front is a large 50 tooth front chainring, dual-sided metal. There's a chainstay protector to keep your frame looking nice. And there's a look at the controller, still external, but hidden a little bit. You can see some cables coming in here. We've got some safety stickers on the rear, RadWagon 5 branding, and of course, Rad Power Bikes on the down tube. But more importantly, how does the bike perform, particularly while loaded? I can't wait to find out. Let's get into some first-person riding footage. All right, this is what it's all about with Cargo electric bikes. Got both kids in the back. I can't tell you how many people that we rode past in their yards and they can't help but look at the setup. We couldn't help ourselves. We just had to get the accessories on here because we really wanted to test it out. And in this first-person riding footage, it's important to show both, yes, what it looks like with Cargo, but also how the bike performs. With any young actor or actress, we need to feed them. So we brought some snacks along that will keep them busy during our first-person riding footage. Here we go. So first, to get started, I'm going to put my foot in front of the kickstand, rock it forward. So here's my plan with the first-person riding footage. I left it as class 2 because I think 20 miles per hour is probably the top speed most people should be riding with either Precious Cargo or regular Cargo. So I'm going to do this test with the kids, and then we'll do the hill climb test with the kids, and then after that, I'll take the kids out and then I'll override the bike to class 3 speeds and talk a little bit more about that. Remember, class 2 means top speed of 20 miles per hour, whether you're using the throttle or pedaling. And our first test will be throttle only. I have the speedometer app by Cool Nicks here. We'll compare that to the Rad display. Throttle still works in pedal assist level 0. Sounds like we got some quiet passengers back there, so let's get started. Now I can already tell that it has more power than the RadWagon 4. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 miles per hour. And remember, that's with weight in the back and basically a sail with the Conestoga. And holding me at 20 miles per hour using about between 600 and 700 watts depending. Now, one of my complaints about the RadWagon 4, on flat ground, I think it performed just fine, but on hills, really only when weighted, it was a significant challenge. And so I'm really happy that they improved the power on the RadWagon 5. All right, I'm going to come to a stop And we'll go in pedal assist level 1. I'm going to shift all the way down, and we'll see how this torque sensor feels. Now with cargo electric bikes, I normally tell people getting started with the throttle, once you're comfortable, of course, is the way to go. It just helps get you moving, and it's just a little bit more stable than trying to pedal. But I'm going to start from pedaling in first gear, and I can just barely feel the motor kick on. Can hear it a little bit, but we are using 60 watts, not much. Now remember, with the torque sensor, the more effort I put in, the motor is going to give me more power, more of a natural riding experience. Let's go into second or third gear. So plenty of gears on the lower end. I mean, even in pedal assist level 1, I already want to be in third gear. Going 8 miles an hour, very leisurely cadence. Could do this for a long period of time. Of course, we're not going very fast. And if I put in a little bit more power, maybe getting a little bit more out of the motor, but not much in pedal assist level 1. It's not even jumping past 100 watts, hovering still about 75. But we did increase the speed a little bit. Let's go into pedal assist level 2. And I'm going to shift up into fourth gear. All right, cruising at 12 miles an hour, not too much effort. 300 watts. Putting in a little bit more power, getting up to 15 miles an hour. Starting to put a little bit more effort in there though. I could maybe shift up to fifth gear. I prefer a slower cadence. Let's go into pedal assist level 3 and see where we get. So no problems with the motor power in my opinion. Just cruising at 15 miles an hour, which feels like a great speed when you have kids back there. Let's see how close to 20 we can get, putting in a little bit more effort. 17 miles an hour. Legs are definitely working though, 18. We'll use my right turn signal here. This is the road where I'll appreciate the front suspension. Yep, swimming lessons are right there, Lenny. All right, pedal assist level 4. And I can maybe shift up to 6th gear. Yeah, very, very happy with the motor power. It doesn't take much to ride at 18 miles an hour, and we're still only in pedal assist level 4, using around 400 watts, 6th gear. And putting a little bit more power, yep, we're gonna hit that 20 mile per hour mark. All right, let's go in pedal assist level 5. I'm going to leave it in 6th gear, and we'll just start from a stop. That motor engagement is so fast with the torque sensor, and we are getting all 750 watts as I was putting in a little bit more power. I'm gonna slow that down a little bit here though. All right, 7th gear. You can undoubtedly pedal this electric bike at 20 miles per hour, barely putting in any effort, which is important for a cargo electric bike. If you were just in pedal assist level 5 on this bike and you had no other experience, you would almost think it's a cadence sensor, because that's usually the experience where you don't have to put in a ton of effort. Though on this bike, I'm really glad they kind of tuned it the way it is. And as I mentioned, this is the speed that just feels very comfortable for hauling kids. Now, I'm not going to slam on the brakes. I'm gonna ease them on. Want to be careful with the kids, but at this crossing sign, we're at 18 miles an hour. We'll apply both brakes. Yeah, so not bad at all. Wasn't quite going 20, but stopping distance really good. These Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, in my opinion, are plenty capable. Now I'm really curious with this gearing, once I override it to class 3 speeds, what my cadence is going to be. But before we get into that, let's see how this motor does up our large hill climb test while loaded.
Welcome to the hill climb test.
All right, here we go. I honestly don't know if the bike is going to make it up. We'll see. First test will be throttle alone. The GoPro makes this hill look so much smaller than it is, so we'll put the specs of the hill on the screen as well as a picture. And we'll see what this 750 watt peak motor can do. Getting close to 20 miles per hour here. And hill is gradually starting. All right, what is the minimum speed going to be, or will I have to stop? 14, 13 miles an hour, 12, 11, 10 miles an hour, 9, all right, I didn't know if it was going to be possible. We'll have to fast forward this, but I think we're gonna make it up. Just the motor is pegged at 750 watts. All right, we made it to the top. It held us at 10 miles an hour most of the way. I have to give Rad Power Bikes credit. This motor is very capable, and I forgot to add, we have 2 heavy chain locks in the front metal basket as well. But this is an electric bike after all. I'm going to go back down and we'll see what the experience is while pedaling. All right, let's get started with the hill climb test while pedaling. I'm going to shift all the way down and go into pedal assist level 1. Now, I imagine that I'm going to want to go into a higher pedal assist level. The hill has barely started, and pedal assist level 1, again, only getting like 70 watts. Let's go ahead and go into 2. All right, now we're getting up to 350. That's quite a big jump. I could maybe go up this hill in first gear, but pedal assist level 2, it's still going to be a significant workout. Let's see what we get in 3. I don't feel a huge difference there, though the wattage is peaking a little bit closer to 500 watts, between 400 and 500 watts. Let's go into pedal assist level 4. All right, now feeling some relief, getting about 600 watts. Still putting a decent amount of effort into my legs though. So imagine most people on a hill like this, super steep. Pedal assist level 5. And I can slow down my cadence just a little bit. I actually did see it say 750 watts, so it doesn't take too much pressure to get to 750 watts, though it is bouncing around a little bit. Between 600 and 700 watts. So I could go up the hill slowly at 6 miles an hour, though you certainly will need to put in a little bit more effort if you want to get consistently the full 750 watts, or what I'd personally do here is just twist that throttle and go up into maybe third gear and just pedal along, still putting in some effort, but then you get consistently all the 750 watts out of the motor. Though of course this is kind of an extreme hill climb test, so if you have smaller hills where you live, you won't have to worry as much. But with that, let's get into some additional first-person riding footage. And we'll test out Class 3 mode, see what this bike can do. All right, we are without kids and changed the speed to 28 miles per hour, Class 3, and we'll see what this bike can do. Keep in mind that the battery is probably around 40%. And what I was noticing, not a significant difference between the pedal assist levels and how much wattage I'm getting. So It might just be a matter of literally the motor just stops at 20 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and shift up to 5th gear and 6th gear. And we'll go all the way up to pedal assist level 5 right away. And just spinning my legs nice and easily. So easily 21, 22, and we are hitting 750 watts. I'm not putting in that much effort. So it looks like 24 miles per hour. We'll try that one more time, starting in pedal assist level 5. See if we can get any higher than 24 miles an hour. I would only recommend this for expert riders once you have a lot of experience on a cargo electric bike. Cadence certainly a little bit faster, 26. There we go. So it is capable, 26 miles an hour, 27 according to the GPS. Like I said though, with such a heavy bike, not something that I think a lot of people are going to be doing on this electric bike, but it's good to know that it can do it. I would be pretty disappointed if it was limited to 20 miles per hour because there are times when I feel comfortable going 21, 22 with the kids, or perhaps going grocery shopping. All right, with that, let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you my concluding thoughts on the RadWagon 5. I thought it would be good to start with a perspective from someone who is perhaps a harsher critic than myself when it comes to e-bikes, especially cargo e-bikes, my wife.
Hey folks, Allie here. I'm a 5'5" mother of 3 who has ridden many cargo e-bikes. I have some strong preferences these days since I have gotten to try out so many different ones. Our whole cargo e-bike journey started with a RadWagon, so there is a special place in my heart for Rad. But honestly, with some other bikes we've gotten to ride, the RadWagon 4 fell pretty low on my list of bikes I would choose. With this new RadWagon 5, I have to say the improvements are significant. The overall look is great, the center of balance is low to the ground, and the kickstand is hefty. The best part of the bike for me is the gearing and torque sensor motor. I feel like I can actually control the speed with my legs. It's great. My favorite ever front bag is the large roll top bag also. It can close, hold a lot, and is easily removed. Every time I ride the new RadWagon, I just keep telling myself how much I love it.
Ryan here. I had some pretty high expectations given the amount of cargo e-bikes that are now being offered between $13.99 and now $21.99 where the RadWagon 5 sits. And so yes, it isn't the cheapest cargo e-bike. It's on the higher end of what I'll call the still somewhat affordable category before you get to the crazy prices found on mid-drive cargo e-bikes. Though if you're replacing a car or trying to go car light, it's certainly easier to justify. And there are some great features on the new RadWagon 5. Taking a step back, Rad really ensured the RadWagon 5 wouldn't leave riders wanting more. You now have a standard tire size, front suspension, hydraulic disc brakes, a way better and user-friendly display, and let's not forget about the much improved motor with 90 Newton meters of torque. Plus, it's Class 3 capable, still has a twist grip throttle, is UL certified, the Safe Shield battery gives you peace of mind, and finally, it's made to fit a variety of riders. Riding experience wise, I couldn't ask for a better experience with the torque sensor. Considering this is a cargo e-bike, you want it to be easier to get power from the motor for hefty loads, and that's exactly what you get. Where this e-bike really shines is when it's outfitted with accessories. The Conestoga is a favorite of ours because it extends the riding season a bit here in Wisconsin and keeps the kids warmer. Of course, all of these accessories add up quickly, but Rad has a nice selection, and in my experience, they're of high quality. Let's get into the key considerations, and you should know that none of these will prevent us from making this one of our primary cargo e-bikes this year. Firstly, the battery is bigger, but it's still average size. I would have loved to see an option for a secondary. Next, the shifter is still the basic thumb shifter, but if that's what allows for a twist grip throttle, I'll take that trade-off. And finally, the payload capacity of 375 pounds with 120 pounds on the rear rack is among the lowest when you look at e-bikes you're probably also considering, like the Electric Expedition, Event and Abound, Velotric Packer, and the Blix Packagini. That's not a big deal for us right now with smaller children, but could be for you depending on your needs. So what we have here is a well-designed product with great features, with a few of them that you simply won't find on other e-bikes, all from a reputable brand based here in the United States. And if we've helped you decide that the RadWagon 5 is your next e-bike or any other rad bike, we'd appreciate your support by clicking the link in the description before you make your purchase. It's a free and easy way to help support us here for free. Thank you so much for your support. If we could only own one e-bike, it would undoubtedly be a cargo e-bike. They just unlock so much when it comes to what you can do with them. We're glad to see Rad is back with another improvement on one of their staples in the lineup. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.